In this video, we are going to build a Tana system that's perfect for managers of all kinds. So you can track work issues, products, people, and automatically surface what matters to the right members of your team. This is the second video in a series of Tana builds where we create advanced Tana systems from scratch and provide free templates you can use to instantly add the full build to your Tana workspace. So if you want to skip the build, check out the link here to immediately add it to your workspace and start experimenting right away. Now, before we start, this is an intermediate to advanced Tana setup. That means if you want to build it, we're going to assume you know a few things. What super tags are, how to add fields to notes, the different types of fields you can add, how to promote those fields to a super tag, how to create basic notes in Tana and transform these notes into different views, how to filter and sort these views, how to summon a live search for any super tag using Command K or /, and how to update that live search to create advanced searches with multiple tags or special conditions. To get caught up on those features, watch the video linked above before you watch this. Okay. Let's get into it. If you download the full template, you'll see a dashboard with 6 sub-pages inside it. Your team page, where each member can check out their current obligations and priority items. The analyst page, which shows team members assigned to job sites. Customer sites, which track everyone associated with a job site as well as the equipment and issues for that site. Site contacts, which are your client contacts and everything associated with them. Assets by site, a big list of every asset. And asset reports, organized by severity in a tidy board view. Each of these sections are built from super tags, so the first thing Mark's going to do is set up his tag system. Every manager who uses Tana will probably need their own set of tags for similar items. People on your team or related to your clients, your big picture projects, individual products or features, and any open issues related to those products or features. Each of these 4 things need one or multiple super tags fit to your company or situation. Here's how Mark set up each of these in his build.
I once worked as an analyst manager at a tech company where we put sensors in manufacturing facilities. I'm the analyst manager, the sales lead, and a couple analysts. The assets or the reports that they have, the sites that we're responsible for, the contacts at those sites, the assets, the machinery at those sites, and the reports for each of those assets. So this whole asset workflow from a high level could be applied to many different scenarios. This is kind of what we use internally at Tana as well.
So Mark's core super tags fit the manager role of a team of systems analysts, but you should adopt each tag for your situation. For example, at Tana, we're tracking software bugs, not equipment issues, and we're building out features instead of maintaining real-world job sites. So make sure to adapt your tags as you see fit. Okay, let's dive into the build. Here's Mark setting up his first tags.
Say we're making a new site. We'll go Northern Plywood. I worked with a lot of wood and lumber sites. So I'm in a brand new, my own personal workspace. I would suggest making this in a shared workspace in a normal instance, because then you could, especially when you're publishing things. But just for this example, I'll do it in this private workspace. So I'll say hashtag site, and we got nothing in there yet. So let's say I go in hashtag and I add a new tag, people. We don't have any people yet. So let's say Jimmy, and Jimmy is the site contact. So I'll just hashtag site contact, and he is the site contact at Northern Plywood with the greater than symbol to create a field, make a field called site. And now I want to start applying these to the tag. So a tag is like a cookie cutter, where if we apply something to the template, we could reuse that template over and over again, creating unique cookies. When we add something to the template, it doesn't automatically change the cookie, but the cookie cutter itself. So this is gray, so this site doesn't yet belong to the site contact. So I can Command K, add to template. And now if I Shift Option to my site contact, I can see we got the site field there. And it's just a plain field right now. So in order to connect this to the Northern Plywood site, I can shift click that site field and change the field type. So within the field type, I want to go options from super tag, and then I could select the super tag site. So now if I go back to the field, it's going to allow me to select what site it belongs to. So Jimmy belongs to Northern Plywood. And now if I run this, oh, it doesn't show up. See, I've got a tag for people, but I tag Jimmy's site contact. And I can say, okay, well, Jimmy's a person, right? So what we could do, if we have a base level tag, we can either choose from our built-in base tags, or we could just create a separate tag and do our own. And essentially they're going to do the same thing. They're going to extend the properties of the base tag to the tag that we're extending it to. And right now, people doesn't have anything on it, but maybe I could add something like phone number, because any person you have in your system, maybe you want their contact information. And if I hit this extend from, I could choose people, and now that phone number just got extended into Jimmy because a site contact is now at the base level people. It's a person. So that's a cool way to kind of extend these cookie cutters and branch them out into different directions.
In order to build the 6 dashboards we saw earlier, with full details about each person, project, and issue inside the company, Mark had to set up some initial super tags and searches. To do this, he first sets up a people tag and a site tag. He then added a live search that will show up under each site to pull up details on which people are assigned to that job site. Then he used the people tag as a template to create new tags for more specific types of individuals. Since all those new tags are extensions of the original people tag, if Mark updates the people tag, those changes will be made on all tags based on it, instead of having to re-add details to every type of person.
So I've made a tag here now for analyst as well, and he doesn't have anything on there yet, so I can go to that analyst and do the same thing where I could extend people. This is one of those examples of, I built one way, but maybe I want to change things now, where I added the site field to my site contact template, and I also want the site field on my analyst template. But instead of putting that in 2 different places, because I extended from people, maybe now I say, okay, what if I just put the site field? So I did a Command C just with my cursor in here to copy that field, greater than symbol to create a new field. But when I paste in there, it's going to reference it. So you can see it just totally updated the field I had in the site contact, in the people, in the analyst, and kind of did like an auto merge amongst them. So instead of having this site in 2 different places, it's now at the base level and extends outwards. And so I'll put Frederick the analyst as belonging to Northern Plywood as well. I could run that, and now I got both people showing up.
Now that Mark's got his people tag set up and a working search to look for those people, Mark has to make sure that his search is always added to the site super tag and that the correct people are automatically pulled in as details for that site. Here's how he does it.
Now this search node is gray right now, which means it doesn't belong to the site. So if I were to create a new site, it's not there. So similar to fields, I could go to the search node and say Command K, add to template. So now it's colored, and it'll show if I create a new site as well, but it's showing all people. I want it based on what site the person belongs to. So I could go into this people search node, into the query, and put a field there for site. And I want it to be Northern Plywood, but here maybe it's Western Timber. So I want this to distinguish, which site it belongs to. So all I need to do is type in all capital letters parent, and that's going to grab the parent node of the search. So it just filled in Northern Plywood there. I could run that and it stays the same. However, we can see that search I made here that I just updated within Northern Plywood didn't change the Western Timber one. And that's because, talking about the cookie versus cookie cutter, I just added some sprinkles to the Northern Plywood cookie, but I changed maybe the arm of the gingerbread man on the Northern Plywood cookie, but I didn't change the cookie cutter. So if I go back to the site template, we could see the search here is just still people without that distinction of filtering by what site each person belongs to. So I could change it here directly, or because I changed it on the instance, I could run a Command K update search node on tag. And it does exactly what it says. It'll update the search node on the tag. So the changes I made here are now applied to the tag, and thus they automatically applied to Western Timber. And I can see that parent for Western Timber is filled out, and we don't have anyone that belongs there. So maybe, just as an example, switch Frederick over there. Now he shows up there.
We've seen Mark create 2 out of 4 of the super tag categories we talked about earlier. Now it's time to fill out the rest.
Let's move on to adding some assets here. So we got, plywood site, we got the people that, are responsible for that site, but then we have some assets there. So let's say wood chipper, buzzsaw, dust fan. And then I could select all those and do my hashtag asset. So we got a new tag for asset, and we could do the same thing here. So I could create a search node, hashtag asset, define that, and run that. But again, maybe we want to distinguish here site that it belongs to. Oh, this is an interesting one. So I, greater than symbol to make a field, started typing in site, and we're like, oh, it's not showing up. Why is that? It's hidden behind the show fields from super tags. So this site already belongs to a super tag. So we don't want to create a new one. We want to click that, and then it shows up. And I can Command K, add that to the asset template. So now the site shows up on all these. So let's say, wood chipper is that timber, buzzsaw is that plywood, dust fan is that plywood. And then going back to the search here for the site assets, I'll just rename that. And same principle, I can add a field, start to type in site, type in parent again. So it's dynamic field or a dynamic query. So now it's site northern plywood, run that, gets rid of the wood chipper. And it didn't apply to the western timber site yet because I need to add this to the template itself. So again, I could do a Command K, add to template, site assets is on the template. We got assets showing up on both sites.
Mark just created the asset super tag, added the same site field to it, and added a new live search to the site tag. Our site tag now automatically pulls details on any people or assets assigned to that site. Now for the final piece.
And now we want to go a layer further. So we got the people, we got the assets. Beauty of Tana is it can make you really think about what knowledge is important here. It can structure anything important that you might want to share. So it's like an asset, we want to do an asset report. So that could get its own tag on what are the things that are currently important. Do asset report. And I'm going to leave that blank for now, but I could go to this asset report and build it directly in the template. So let's say I go here and create asset, and you can see, because I already typed it there, it's coming up in the search. If I click that, again, that same thing as we showed with the extending from a super tag, is that it absorbs that, it merges it automatically because it has the same core instance of the original field node, and it just brings that in, adds it on the template, and now every time I hit asset report, that asset field is going to show up. And I'm going to go over, change this again, asset field into options from super tag. This time it's going to be asset, and now I can select, okay, this is a report for my dust fan, report for my buzzsaw. The asset report, maybe I don't necessarily want to call it anything. I just want it to show what's in the field. So we have this cool function called build title with fields. We have a funny nomenclature, but it's a $, curly brackets, and then we've got a whole kind of extension of what's possible there. So I'll hit the help button up here, and let's see if we have something right in Tana here. So if I go to maybe super tags, build title with fields. And so we got these title expressions here. So we got a list of them here, but essentially what it allows us to do is take the values of fields and use that to build the title instead of typing it in. So again, it's kind of like using parent within a search node, it becomes dynamic, where depending on the parent or depending on the field value, it's going to apply some change without me having to do any other action. And I'll do $, curly bracket, and all I have to do is type in the name of that field, asset, close the curly bracket, and now I know that asset report is for the asset in that field. Maybe additionally, I want to give the status of that. So I'll do status, shift click that, and I'll make this an options field with auto collecting options. So maybe the status of this one is good, and maybe the status of this one is bad. And you can see as I type those in that options field, because I have auto collected the values, they're going to show up here. So if I now make a asset report for the wood chipper, I could select the drop down, and I have good and bad already there.
Now that all the 4 core tags are in place, Mark's ready to customize his dashboards. He wants important details that flow to each individual's hub so they can quickly see what's most relevant for their daily work.
And this is where I think the idea of getting the right information to the right people really stands out with Tana. So we got, our site contact and our analyst. Maybe Jimmy, the site contact, he only wants to see things that are bad because he has to take action on things. If it's good, he doesn't care. So I could create a search node for Jimmy and I could say hashtag asset report. And then I could put in a field for the status of that asset report. And I only want to see asset reports with the status of that are bad. So yeah, we got those 2 there. Additionally though, I want to put in the site again, parent. Oh, this is a good point here. So I said parent, the search node is underneath Jimmy though. So the site just filled in Jimmy. So that's not going to return anything. What we could do here with this parent is use what's called dot values. And what that allows us to do is look in the value of a field. So all I need to do is parent period site. And now that just changed to the value of the site that Jimmy's responsible for. Say bad assets. And why is this not running? Oh, you know why? Because the asset report doesn't have a site. The asset itself has a site. Oh, that's a great point. So you're like, oh, okay, well, what do we do? Do we want to add now the site to every asset report? That can pile up. It's like, all right, we already have it within the asset itself. So I would rather not do that.
Okay, so Mark's about to use an advanced Tana technique that will probably be replaced one day, but is really handy for the current build. If you want more details, check out the semantic function page in the description below. But if you're like most of us, you might just want to download the template. That way you don't have to mess with semantic functions. Either way, it's up to you.
So what we could do, we have a couple kind of funny names for it: components, recursive, and then semantic part of. So they both tie together. So we got an asset report here, asset dustfan, site it belongs to is Northern Plywood. The asset report, it doesn't have a site field, but it has an asset field. So let's throw in the asset field. Within this, I can shift click, bring up the configuration for this asset field, scroll all the way to the bottom, into the advanced. As we said, it's advanced. We got it designated as such. Field has semantic function. So if I click that, brings up semantic function, and I could say part of. So what that's saying is that the values within here can be used as a part of another value. So now I could look within this asset field, but I need to do this to the site field as well. So essentially we're opening up portals is the way I would try to describe it. I think there's an old video game by Valve that had a kind of wonky gameplay to it. So I've got part of semantic function enabled for the asset field as well as the site field. And now all I need to do is within this asset field, I'll take this value out of here for now. I call the field components recursive. And so what that does, tunnels, it kind of shoots out all these different maybe magnifying glasses, or I don't know how to quite to describe the visualization, but it's going to look through all those portals opened up through these fields and return a value. So if I type in this parent.site, so it's going to look through the asset field and any other fields that have the semantic part of enabled, and it's going to find this value. Cool. So now we have Jimmy, if he wants to come in here, he doesn't care about the good asset reports. He just wants to see the bad asset reports. He now has these directly in front of him. And what's nice too is you could go in and like change the view. So in the pre-built one, I said view as table, and then that's going to show the content within there in a different format. So funneling the right information to the right people. You could publish this, Jimmy can check it out, go in there, and then maybe want to add a field, add column for fix notes. Jimmy replace the saw blade. Come over here, you can see I added it within the table, but it didn't apply to the asset report. So like before, Command K, add to template, and now the fix notes are a part of the asset report.
Okay, we're not going to build a full dashboard in this one video, but now that Mark's shown you the basics, you have two options. First, you can take it from here, customize your build, and set up your own dashboards to pull what you need to level up your management skills in Tana. Or, if you want to have the full template set up for you, you can add it directly to Tana in 2 clicks and customize it further from there. Here's Mark to show off the major sections of the template before we go.
So if I just dig in, I could go into, say, any one of my analysts. They've got their active reports set up there. We could set a status field to good, whether they need to do maintenance or they need to fix it ASAP. And then if I go over to the site that's responsible for this, I can see people. All right, I'll go to my point of contact there, and then they have search nodes within their person tag instance that's going to pull in those reports. So Chuck at Western Composite knows, hey, I've got these 2 machines that I need to fix ASAP, and these other 2 that have maintenance to be determined, with some reasoning on what they need to check. And to show off our latest and greatest, we've got our new publish mode. So if Chuck doesn't belong to Tana yet, we could send him a publish preview that shows, hey, I need to fix pump B2 and wood chipper A, and I've got to do maintenance on wood chipper B and wood chipper A as well. So let's say, Chuck shoots us an email. He goes back and says, all right, I took care of the blade crack on wood chipper A. We'll mark that off. It's adding me to add some fix notes. So what did he do? Maybe he replaced the blade. So now I know the fix that he took care of on that asset. I can go back the sales lead, and then he has a search on there for recent fixes. So we kind of have this flow of information from an analyst making a report for an asset. We send that to the maintenance lead on site to take action. When they take action, we can update it, and that automatically updates the sales lead so he knows what happened. Maybe we put some ROI in there. So then when it's time for this site to renew the contract, we have some hard data here on the actions that took place based on our recommendation.
You can get the full manager template here, or watch this video next. It'll help you set up a simple, step-by-step dashboard for your personal tasks. Enjoy.